Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot. Thank you very, very much for being here. So just a little bit of a heads up. I am recording this a couple of days earlier than you're actually going to see it. I think it's going to be released. Let me see if I can get the dates right here. June 11th. Okay. But I'm sort of motivated to do this video, record this video now, because what we're seeing is some real spiraling going on with, the former guy. So good old Donald is like, oh my God, he wants everybody arrested. If they were on the January 6th committee, he wants them arrested. He wants, every prosecutor, thrown in jail. He's going after the judges. People are trying to get him to, even Handy is trying to get him to moderate his revenge rhetoric, and he won't. Like, he just will not. He is like so determined that he has been hard done by, and that he is just going to let the whole world know that when he is back in power, man, he's coming after everybody who just doesn't love him. And so now I do know that there apparently was an interview with Dr. Phil, and I haven't seen it. I've heard a little bit of talk about it, but I gather that Dr. Phil was really sort of encouraging the idea that has been victimized and he's been very hard done by, but apparently even he could not get Trump to back up on this whole, I'm going out for revenge at everybody, just everybody. So I thought this would be a really good time to just sort of take a peek and see how he's doing. Because, we have seen crazy behavior. We have seen erratic behavior. We have seen him say things that are just doesn't make sense. But this seems to be up a level. It really does. It seems that he is spiraling. And so I am going to take a big deep breath, and I'm going to step into his energy, and let's see what we can find out. For those of you who worry, I am incredibly well protected when I do this. And I truly don't really suffer any ill effects. I sort of am able to pop in and pop out. Now, there are some people whose energies I really don't like. That Stephen Miller guy, is that his name? He's the kind of guy that looks like he just transported himself from 1932 Germany or something. Him? I don't like his energy at all. But Trump, I don't know. Maybe I'm just sort of used to it. But here we go. Let's pop in and see how Trump is doing. So, there have been times that I've dropped in on him and he has been raging. There have been times that I've dropped in on him and he's been almost like just kind of like numb, almost like he can't process what is going on around him. His energy right now, the base of his energy is abject fear. In fact, I would take it to terror. All right. And so, we've talked about this lots and lots of times before. This is an animal who has been shoved into a corner. And, that his behavior is exactly like that, right? He is going to lash out. He's going to attack. He's going to do everything in his power because he truly feels like his own mortality is in danger. And to be fair, kind of is, because right now he's in that place where he doesn't know what's going to happen with the upcoming sentencing, right? And there's enough chatter about the fact that, listen, hey, Michael Cohen got sent to prison for 3 years, and man, he didn't do a half of what Trump did. So there's sort of this jail precedence thing kind of hanging around. And even though there's a lot of this, it's the previous president, he's not going to get thrown in jail. he of course is truly, truly worried. And what is coming on? His energy is so angry and so toxic and so fearful that the people around him, the sycophants, right? Those who, just yes sir, yes sir. How? Where do you want me to kiss your ass, sir? Um, Even they are being very careful around him. There is a lot of um, they're not trying to calm him down. What they do is you're absolutely right. This is unbelievable how badly you've been treated. They are like feeding the fire because honestly, they're terrified of crossing him, of saying anything to set him off because he is on the edge all the time. And so the idea of saying something that would displease him, um, it has a lot of them, just sort of watching their P's and Q's, if you can imagine. And do they, on some level, recognize that he's gone right round the bend? Yeah, they do. Are they motivated to acknowledge that? Are they motivated to try to calm him down? No, no. I mean, part of it is just plain selfish um, ambition, right? Where does this get me? Where do I go? How do I position myself to the very best advantage? Part of it is nobody wants to cross him right now, right? The volatility is extreme. Um, I personally have actually never gotten so angry that I have seen red. Apparently, that actually happens if you get mad enough. Well, let me tell you, when I kind of look through his eyes, all I can see is red. He is just in a state. How his physical body is able to sustain that level of anxiety and stress and tension, I don't know. Okay, I don't know. Um, but as I have said a few times, you know, we don't want him to implode too early in the kind of election cycle, right? The closer it gets to um, the election, and the more volatile he becomes at that point, in many ways, that truly is the best case scenario for America. It sort of reminds me of as I'm sure all of you know, Steve Bannon has been told that he has to report to jail on July 1st. Well, 4 months in, that takes him right up until days before the election, which means that ridiculous war room podcast of his, I'm assuming, even if it doesn't go silent, his voice isn't going to be part of it. And that's significant. Like, just think about it for a second. If the voice is going to be silenced in those months leading up to that election, think about what he contributed or how his messaging amplified everything connected to January 6th. It's a good thing his voice is going to be silenced. Sometimes the universe works in mysterious, mysterious ways. Sometimes, when things are delayed or dragged out, it actually ends up working to an advantage. And this is one of those situations. And it's kind of the same energy around Trump. It's like the closer he gets to the election and then implodes, the more scattered, the more chaotic, the more the Republican Party just doesn't, they don't have a way to position themselves. I mean, let's say something happens to Trump, just mentally or physically in September, October. Well, he's already at some point, he will have had to had um, named his vice president, one assumes. That being the case, I mean, what happens there if he's no longer able to go forward on that ticket? Does the vice president potential then move into the presidential position? And how many people who are real Trump supporters, how many of them are actually going to say, oh, yeah, no, I'm going to vote for what, J.D. Vance or Rubio or Tim Scott or whoever the other guy is? No. Right. And so that's part of what's going to create that real chaos and that real sort of energy that really creates it's not destruction of the Republican Party, but the deflating of it. They're going to lose whatever energy and power and momentum they have that Trump is able to whip up if he's not there. And the closer it is to the election, frankly, just timing wise, the better it is. So, well, right now he's in pretty scary and sorry shape. And I think July is going to be a really, really difficult month for him. And yes, let me confirm. There is this amazing astrologer named Kathy Beale, I believe, who she has a YouTube channel called, I believe it's Professional Aquarian, and I am actually going to be doing a joint video with her coming out sort of around the beginning of July, talking about Trump's horoscope and what's going on with him in the month of July. And honestly, it really, it doesn't look great. I mean, it doesn't. And you know what? As much of everything that he is, on some level, he's still a human being. He still has a soul. And we can't wish, harm or evil on him. And you know what? That's okay, because energetically, he's doing it to himself. He's bringing it all on himself. I mean, every time he opens his mouth lately, he is just violating that gag order. Apparently went on like a 10-minute rant about Michael Cohen the other day at some sort of a rally that he was doing or something. That's a violation of the gag order. How many times is he going to do that before sentencing? How many times is he going to promise retribution on every single person who has anything to do with, him being indicted, him going to court, him being found guilty? How many more times? It's going to be a daily, current, and multiple times daily. And so he's literally creating the hole in which he stands, and he's going to find that he can't dig himself out of it. And what's more is the people around him are not going to be able to dig themselves out of the hole that they've jumped into with him. So where we're at with him energetically is a tremendous amount of fear. It is just rage. The energy. Okay, I'm just going to step away from him for a second and just get a bit of a broader view of what we're looking at over the next few months. You have more and more stuff coming out about the Supreme Court and those justices and, the things that Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito in particular. That energy is going to continue. Chief Justice Roberts you're going to see him really becoming more and more sort of attacked because he will not do anything to try to get control. I mean, you have a Supreme Court where, what is it, like only 30% or so of Americans actually approve of what they're doing. So yeah, that's probably, the MAGA people. The rest of America apparently is pretty much horrified. You have the Republican Party, now, bad enough, they went after Roe v. Wade. Now they're going after contraception. It's like that whole energy around Republican people, politicians, judges, ideas, attitudes. They are all creating such just a nasty, nasty energy that even people who are inclined to, they've always voted Republican, they kind of think they will this time. What's coming out of that party and the people associated with it is so toxic. It is so angry. It is so belligerent, entitled, that even people who aren't paying attention are starting to pay attention and going, what the hell is going on with this party? And so over the next, days and weeks and months, we can anticipate this energy amplifying. Because why? Well, because we know that whatever energy gets focused on, wherever you focus, that becomes amplified. And the Republican Party is doing an amazing job at self-destructing. They are doing an amazing job at becoming so bent on tearing down everything that Americans consider sort of normal, right? Consider the way it has been. And God knows there's lots there to fix and improve, as there is in every other country. But Republicans have taken this idea of just ripping everything down. And, by and large, people don't like that kind of attitude. The average people will look at a situation and go, okay, you know what, this isn't working very well. That's not working very well. We need to look at this. We have to fix that. But the average person does not say, okay, well, and the way we're going to do that is to absolutely destroy every institution, every democratic norm. That's not how people want to fix and correct things. Particularly as you continue, as we continue to move forward into this sort of Aquarian energy, where truly people are going to become less and less tolerant of this kind of energy of attack. And so you can see where, as the months unfold, as the Republicans and that kind of energy increases and becomes more and more angry and more volatile and more destructive and more, you know what? I don't even know what the word is, because it's like what they're trying to do is just reverse time. And they're trying to go back to a time 100, 200 years ago in terms of, rights and attitudes and belief structures. It's not going to fly. So where does that put us? Where does that put the rest of us who live in, what is it, Earth 1? Who live in a place of objective reality? Who live in a place of, when things need to be fixed, we don't detonate them and destroy them first? Well, where that leaves us is where we are, right? Focusing on that which we want, not that which we do not want. Focusing on every single American figuring out what they can do to not only just go vote, but what they can do to get others out to vote, what they can do to, help support candidates, whether they are in your blue state or, they're in a red state, because man alive, it's from what I can figure out, there's a whole lot of red states that are going to go purple, if not blue, simply as a result of the abortion issue. Now, listen, back up a second. If people got and have been, and rightly so, that furious, that motivated by the Roe v. Wade being, demolished, pulled back, right? What do you think their reaction's going to be when more and more people start to realize that the Supreme Court is now trying to go after birth control? And, this is the thing, right? I mean, there are scores and scores of women out in the world who take birth control for a whole variety of reasons that don't have anything to do with birth control, right? Hormone balancing, regulation of periods, all kind of that stuff. They're just trying to strip it. Well, why? Well, because, they want women out of the workforce. They're threatened by them. They're threatened by the amount of power women have. They want women, barefoot and pregnant and powerless. That's their aim. And if you don't think that the average person, and men included, who kind of wake up one day and go, wait a minute, you're saying that all of a sudden birth control in any way, shape, or form isn't going to be available in the United States? If you think people got rattled about abortion, hold on to your horses, because that is taking an infringement of people's health and choice to a level not seen. And so while the crazy is going on, it becomes more and more important that we don't get sucked into that spiraling energy, but that we stay very focused on doing what we need to do to bring about, to manifest the results that we want, that you want as Americans, and frankly, that we as the rest of the world want, because the disruption to that degree of America disrupts the rest of the countries in the world. And frankly, things are rocky enough right now without yet something like that happening. So we focus on what we are creating, what we want. We let the spiraling go on. Yep, we kind of got to pay attention to it, but like sort of, what water off a duck's back, right? Kind of know what's going on, but let it slide. We don't need to get immersed in this stuff. We need to get immersed in creating the momentum and the energy so that, one, the insanity that they're trying to pull becomes more and more known. People who are still kind of not focused yet. And that's okay, right? I mean, we haven't even officially hit the season of summer, right? I mean, there's time. And we stay focused on what we can do. We stay focused on keeping our energy high and up and bright and positive. If you've watched this channel, I swear, for more than a couple weeks, you've probably heard me say that my definition of manifestation is expectant or confident expectation. Okay. And that's the attitude that we need to take. We just need to be confident and expect that the things that we want to take place are going to take place. And it's not just that we're thinking about, oh yeah, that's going to happen. It's we're also taking the steps and doing the things that keep that energy high and vibrant and powerful and bright. And you know what? If I know one thing, I know that you guys out there who watch my videos and leave me lovely comments and do the thumbs up thing and share my videos, all of it, I know that you are incredibly, incredibly capable of doing exactly that. of finding your light, standing in your light, amplifying your light, and trusting that that light energy is joining up with all the rest of it. And that that energy is going to become such a force that it is going to obliterate that heavier, darker energy that is trying to get a foothold. And I think that that's a really important part of the message that I'm sharing with you today. That energy, that darker, lower vibrational energy, it's trying to get a foothold. It has not accomplished that. Don't for a second think it has. That's part of the reason that that energy is so volatile right now, because it's still looking, it's still searching to find that place to sink in. It's not going to, because the light energy is more intense, it's more powerful, it's growing, and it's becoming amplified with every day and with every intention. So, Trump's going to be crazy. Suck it up, buckle up, take your vitamins, and know that in its own way, that spiral is leading to his own self-induced destruction. Know that the people around him who are aiding and abetting, they are creating their own self-imposed destruction. And that is a force that can be minimized, ultimately destroyed. So let the crazy happen. Don't absorb it. Stay in that place where you are working to create the actual reality that you want, not only for yourself, but for your neighbors, for your state, and for your country. Okay. That is your message from Spirit today. I hope that it has been helpful. And I will look forward to seeing you throughout the week with the minis. And of course, don't forget to include your questions for Pendulum Friday. All right. Thank you very, very much for being here. Until I see you next time, take care and be well. Bye-bye for now.